Prince Joheal Kadaris stayed composed after absorbing several blows. No elemental powers. Those are the rules, for he is a prince, and today he takes the trials of ascension. The most critical time of his life will make him a man if he survives. Come on, you can do better than that. Or maybe you just want to quit. Came the mocking comments of a legionary adoring shining imperial blue armor with dark blue trim. The soldiers were quite the adversary. I can't do any worse, came the low-spoken response of a young 12-year-old boy. Barely able to stand, the prince was fairly tall for his age. Hazel skin, sheep wool, wavy dark brown hair, semi-straightened style, cursing combat, thought of barbarism, flooded his mind as he instinctively rejected this critical time of his life. Average in build, but none the less fit, thought of his victory fueled the young boy's pride. The boy finished standing up to his full 4 feet 5 inches height, then definitely crossed both of his arms before several warriors. Your blood is pure. Your heart is one of a warrior. Yet you still denounce your heritage. It's who you are. Accept it, boy. Several lightly armored men charged young Prince Joheal. Features of his diamond-shaped face were calm and composed, light brown eyes analyzing and strategized the movements of his opponents, utilizing his higher reasoning. For a moment, Joheal was holding his own, tracking the movement of his opponents until one of the soldiers surprised him, grabbed him by his neck, and lifted him high into the air. Ha 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 ha. Are you ready to give up, Prince Kadaris? You will never win anyway. Before Joheal could react, a powerful breeze kicked up a large dust cloud, like fog. It crept across the forest floor, deliberately seeking out the men that Joheal fought with. Like a predator, the thickest dust cloud would seek out, surround, and envelop the men one by one until all of them were enveloped within. Shadow could be seen moving, and a fake presence could be felt. A talented elemental using primitive stealth technique could be known through the illusion by the prince. One by one, the soldiers' aura energy were knocked out cold. Ambient vitality energy could be felt. The flash of explosion and the percussion sounds of combat roared from within the concealment. Joheal fell to the ground as the last soldier released the hold of his neck, drawing his sword, then entering the ominous cloud of dust. Several moments of obvious combat sound came from within after a brief moment of stillness, personified by the ambient silence of a living forest. A massive discharge released that all of the men were left laid out on the ground. At the center of the discharge, Joheal was confronted by Borus Mare for the first time. Borus Mare, at your service. What's your name? A friendly introduction overflowing with ego and cockiness, the 14-year-old local Bosca Prime resident extends the hand of friendship to his otherworld visitor, 80 pounds with a muscular build. Borus' circle facial feature was strong, and his light brown eyes full of arrogant passion. Strands of huge nappy curls hung loosely down his face, smaller parts of a much larger curly fro which rested atop his head, hair no doubt as unruly as he was. You have no idea what you just did. Joheal scowled, ignoring Borus's hand, adventitiously standing under his own strength. Joheal moved across the forest, assessing the soldiers. None were dead. Sure I do. I saved you from those soldiers, Borus answered as the youthful prince raged inward, gathered his thoughts, reflecting on the direction of current events. No, he began to shout, I am Prince Joheal. You just interfered with my ascension, and Prince Joel's words were cut short by a low roar coming from deep within the forest. The sound of a raging forest carnivore, ready to destroy everything in its path, echoed through the deep shadows of blues, greens, browns, grays, and blacks, the natural palette of the Bosca forest. What was that? Both Borus and Joheal asked, almost in sync. Sounds like they're a predator. The prince responded, staring into the abyss of the thick-sounding forest when a huge beast appeared from within the depths of the forest, charging right at him. On reflect, Borus pushed the prince out of the way, then dodged claws himself. After getting the creature's attention, Borus contemplated a strategy to fight and kill it. Hey, distract it from me so I can hit a weak spot. Borus asked, but didn't get a response, for Joheal had already saved himself. Fiercely, Borus fought the beast off best he could until a powerful ball of energy struck it from above the massive creature, bulking under pressure, and its feet dug deep into the earth, standing on top of it. Kwajalynn pulled her fan-blade sword free from the creature's side and thrusted it deep into the creature's spinal cord, causing instant death. I was going to do that. Borus stared at his older sister as though he was unimpressed. Sure, Borus, just help me carry it home. Kwajalynn ordered with loving, sarcastic replay. What, you couldn't find a bigger one, Lynn? Borus, sarcastic, mocked, overflowing with amusement through his bright smile. Didn't feel like hunting twice. What we don't eat, we can store. Everything else we can share with the village. Kwajalynn explained, lifting and securing the beast on her shoulder as Borus moved to the other side of the vast creature to do the same. And whatever the village doesn't eat, they can store. Borus joked as he begins floating several inches off the ground to match his older sister's height to balance the load they carried. Kwajalynn outwardly giggled, tickled by her younger brother's comment. Young Prince Joheal watched from afar, above, standing on a cliff edge, looking over the forest, down upon the Mare brother and sister, as they carried their fresh hill away before meeting back up with the king's first officer. Frustration filled Joheal's young mind as he went over the detail of the encounter soon to be had between him and Malikite. Malikite is the king's first officer. The smells of battle filled the air as he approaches what was once a local village of more than a few hundred inhabitants. Soldiers move about, securing the area and rounding up the last of the sons and fathers. Joheal, where are my men? Have you completed the trial? Malikite questioned. No, not yet, Malikite, but a local boy interfered. Though he was saving me, may I have a second chance? Joheal, you are strong. You are a King Nordic son. Those soldiers were my weakest. You could have finished them off in the blink of an eye. But you hesitated. This hesitation will cost you. Normally, I would allow you to start from where you have left off, but now you start over. Perhaps starting from the beginning will encourage you to get it done right the first time and to take your role as prince more seriously. But it will take months to get back where I am in my task. It's not. No buts. Now stand by my side. We have almost met our quota. One last village. Then we head back to the castle. Stay close and stay out of trouble. We're leaving now.